Live, getting ready. Super Terb Podcast-Episode 26. I got a great guest today, guys. I can't wait for you guys to meet her and have her tell you more about what she does. But first off, I got to share it on my personal page so we can get as much content, get in front of as many people as possible. 1 second. We're tagging Rachel. Might even tagging Phil up too. Good. And welcome to the Super Terb Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Terbet, your local real estate expert with the Ida Terbet Group, Coldwell Banker HPW here in Raleigh, North Carolina, or what we like to call the Triangle. I started this podcast last fall. I need to stop saying that, Jordan, don't I? Because every time, I'm on episode 26, so I'm hoping that people have been listening to this now, get the idea, but I mainly want to talk real estate, business, sports, and beer in the Triangle. Most importantly, bringing on local business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, agents, you know it, to help them tell them story, have them say what they do, and help people that are maybe looking in the same field get into that profession. But I also like to talk some real estate, and that's what I'm going to do today before I bring on my guest, Rachel Davis. Rachel, she actually lives now in San Antonio, and she is a lifestyle wellness coach that's helping people accomplish their fitness goals, which I'm pumped to hear more about because I need that as well coming out of COVID. I know for many of us, we made a put on that COVID-19, so it's going to be good to hear what you can do to help get your lifestyle better and enjoy life. But before I get Rachel on the screen, we're going to talk some real estate. And you guys, if you listened last week, we had a real estate overview for the mid-year, but I'm going to touch on that again. Guys, the first 6 months of 2021 has been nuts, but really the last 90 days has been crazier. We had the stats come out with Triangle MLS, looking back the last 12 months from May of 2020 to May of 2021. And listen to this. The average sales price has gone up nearly 20% in our market. Our average sales price now is $446,800, up from $372,000. We've never seen anything like this in my career, in my 15 years, my mother's 34 years. And what is causing to this? One, when COVID hit us, supply was already on the decline, and then it just amplified because a lot of people were not moving. They were staying put, and they were having, more buyers were there with low interest rates, and they're wanting to take advantage, but they have less homes to choose from. Matter of fact, our supply is down nearly 80% in inventory. We have 1.9 months supply going back to May 2020 to less than 2 weeks of inventory now. So if you're thinking about selling, there's absolutely no better time. One thing that we've also seen an increase on, guys, is due diligence money. Remember, due diligence in our state, if you buy a home, you put due diligence money along with earnest money down. That money is non-refundable if a buyer elects not to buy the house. But many buyers now, especially coming from out of state, we have more than 70 people a day coming here. They're putting down significant due diligence, anything from $25,000, $50,000, if not $100,000 in due diligence, which again is non-refundable if the buyer elects not to buy the home. But they know they're going to buy the house. That money's credited back to them at closing, so they want to win the multiple offer situation. So it's important before you get into the buying process, you're with a professional, you understand the game you're about to play, because if you're not prepared to go all in, it's really not worth getting into the game. On the flip side, if you're at all thinking about selling, there's literally no better time to sell in our history. There's no better time if you want to move to that next location, that next house. I have a lot of people moving to Florida, Texas also, and people coming here. If you want to maximize on the equity you have to put that into your next home, please reach out. If you're looking to downsize, you want to use that equity for savings, retirement, again, there's no better time. So please reach out to us. Let us know what we can do to help you accomplish real estate goals, and we'll be happy to do a no obligation market analysis. Lastly, just came hot off the presses, my boy Lamela Ball, Rookie of the Year, Charlotte Hornets. Very excited for him. Unfortunately, he had a little bit of an injury bug, broke his wrist, but he came back, finished the season. So that's awesome for our Hornets. I always like to throw in a little bit of sports. So I'm going to take a quick break, bring Rachel Davis on. She's going to tell you more about what she does, and I can't wait. So I'll be right back.
Hey.
And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. I have Rachel Davis. Say hey, Rachel.
Hey, guys.
How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Again, I told you on the intros a little bit of what you do, but before we get started, tell everybody again, we can see your name on the screen, but tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Hey, everybody. I am a personal health and wellness coach. So I partner with individuals to help them improve their health, their well-being, ultimately their life. We're talking about health in the body, health in the mind, health in finances. So it's all connected. And that's what I've been doing for about 4 years after I worked for a long time.
Are you there? I see you there. We've better frozen.
Yep, I'm here.
That's great. So you've been a lifestyle coach, wellness coach for 4 years, and I think you were about to go into some further. What were you doing before you decided to do what you do now?
I worked in healthcare. So I was a respiratory therapist working with doctors and nurses in the ICU and in the hospital. And then I moved into home health care and hospice and nursing homes. And so all those different levels of just working with patients and seeing what they were going through and helping them try to get their health back on track. So it was a great foundation for what I get to do now.
So then what made the light bulb come on and say, you know what, I'm going to pivot from that to what you do now?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Well, I had a baby. And so working this crazy, busy, demanding, corporate world job, managing people, and it was all crazy 911 emergencies in the healthcare field. And so when I had my child and then he started having some issues and, priorities changed. So I stepped away from that, not knowing what the next was. And then I met a woman who was just an amazing inspiration. And she's my mentor. And she taught me how to partner with people and how to do this and get really good at it.
So let me ask you, what do you do for your clients to accomplish their goals? Because I know you have all walks of life come in and knock on your door, not really walk on your door, but reach out and say, I'm ready to change my life. What programs do you offer, and how long are they typically for?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So, everybody's an individual. They're unique. I mean, I have people who run marathons, but they sleep terribly and have terrible nutrition. And then I've got people who have 100 pounds to lose and they're, knocking on a not so thriving life door. And so it just starts with a conversation. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay,
you keep going. Yeah.
So it starts with a health assessment, with a conversation, and it's all about hearing what their goals are and, maybe identify what went haywire. Where did we get off track? And what is the routine? What is their life like? And then we're coming up with a plan with small changes that they can make over time that are going to gain them wins. People need wins. So I got to hear what's going on in their world and I've got to show them where they can go. And then we just got to walk it out, right? And we got to do it together. So it's a matter of months, but I mean, I'm their coach forever and ever. So
that's great. So when you coached, I'm assuming you coach people in all different geographical areas.
Absolutely. Yes. A lot of what we're doing.
Where do you coach? Where are some of your students?
Oh,
but I mean students, players, coach, whatever, athletes, fitness people.
Yeah.
Where are they?
I can connect with people pretty much anywhere in the United States and some overseas. I have some that live in Germany. So we're able to connect through all these different ways, Zoom, video chat. And so if they connect with my personality and feel like I'm a good fit for them, I'm very positive, very encouraging, but I'm also, I'm intense and I try to tell the truth.
Did you see an increase with COVID? Amount of people reaching out to you?
My business grew during COVID. Yes, absolutely.
I can only imagine. So along with physical, tips and obviously coaching them through the physical losses as far as weight, I'm sure that's a big drive. Do you also help with the mental side? Because I'm assuming with COVID, you've probably seen it was a lot of mental, not issues, but mental stress. Did you help them with that, get past that?
There are absolutely tools and processes that we have to work through. I mean, and I'm working through my own, but that is part of the process, is identifying how do we deal with stress, but also what are the thoughts that we're having that are driving the behaviors? Because that's, that comes first, what we're thinking. Mm-hmm. And for many of us, there's years and years of just messed up thinking. So until we begin to look into that and uncover, peel back the layers, then oftentimes we remain stuck and repeating the same patterns. So I don't mean to be too vague. I hate when people are vague, but I mean, your things that you got to deal with, with your mindset are different than the things I'm going to have to deal with. But that is certainly, that is a huge priority when it comes to getting healthy. We can't change habits and we can't change behaviors without working on the thoughts first.
It's amazing how powerful your mind is and what it tells you. And a lot of what it tells you is not true. It's a lot between the ears, and I deal with it. We all deal with it, and especially in the business that I'm in, I think the hardest thing that we see sometimes is we do everything we can to help grow business. We work hard at meeting people, and then you're like, okay, where is the next opportunity to come? Which, as long as you're putting in that work, it's going to happen. But for example, you can also wake up and you may not want to go do that workout, or you may not want to make those calls or do what you need to do. And that's where I think you probably come in fantastic, where someone can lean on you. Are your students or people that you're working with, are they able to reach out with you at pretty much any time, or do you have set times that you visit with them weekly?
I mean, both, for sure. We do structured coaching sessions, but then sure. Yeah.
If they need you, that's big time. I think that's really helpful. I have coaches myself. I think one thing when I was reading more about what you do, and it's so true, is I think everybody, if you want to be accountable, no matter what field you're in, you need a coach. And I'm listening to a great audio book right now, and I actually will tell you, because I'm trying. It's called Winning. Have you heard of that by chance? It's came out this year, and it's been awesome. And the gentleman that wrote it actually trained Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. So been a very good book. And he touches on a lot of the mental mindset and how we operate, and how, how winning operates in one's mind. And if winning will also kick your butt. So it's how you adjust to that as you go. With your training method, and I know we only have so much time here, but what would you highlight as one thing that you do that may separate yourself from another wellness or lifestyle coach, that, helps separate you from any I don't want to say competition, but when they reach out to you, what makes you different from, what someone else may get somewhere else?
Yeah, I use, I've got science as my background. So I know how the body works. I know how nutrition affects the body. But also I am become a student of the mind as well. So I help my clients dream. I think that's really important, because we have to excite the center of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, to turn back on and to really, start to create a vision of where we're going with our life, because nothing changes if it's not worth it. The discomfort of making changes is too hard. Nobody wants discomfort, and our brains seek comfort. Our brains seek predictable. So if I can partner with somebody and I can start to ask them questions and awaken them to what's possible, because I've come pretty far myself in 4 years. So I'm so confident that people can go where they want to go. But I also know that a lot of people have stopped dreaming. I'm sure you see that a lot in what you do as well.
I absolutely love what you just said about dreaming. Actually, I'm writing that down, because I think the biggest, I know I'm having the issue now. So I'm seeing pictures of me about 3-4 years ago, and I was like, dang, that's when I was strong. I was disciplined,
Yeah.
Beer intake was a little lower, and, watching what I was exactly doing. And then, COVID, I think for a lot of people, just threw us off our routines. And part of that routine, I'm very big in what we call Camp Gladiator here, which I had a talk with my trainer yesterday, and I'm like, if I'm not out 10 out of my, we call them check-ins, I'm donating a certain amount of money to their charity and hold me accountable. I'm tired of the excuses. I need to get back out there. I'm jogging, but it's not the same as that full body workout. But I think where I even struggle is like, not necessarily starting over, but you're like, oh, you know what it takes to kind of get it back going. But then once you're in that groove, like you said, the mindset changes, and then you don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like confusion versus clarity. And when you work with a coach, part of what they need to do for you is help you become really clear on what you're creating. And being in that creation mode it's like an artist, we want to look at the canvas of our life and what are we creating? Because that's what's going to keep us excited. Thinking about what you've got to give up and what you've got to restrict more of and how bad you've gotten. I mean, that's all, that's not motivating. That's not inspiring. I mean, to make change, it's not easy. So it's got to be for a purpose that we are extremely clear on. And then, everything else just sort of, it's a small little obstacle. It's a small little distraction because, you're clear on where you're going.
No, and the accountability is huge because, for example, I run with a friend of mine Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. At least that's our goal. Yesterday we ran at 6. We get there at 6:15 in the morning. We run with the Greenway. And then even today, though, I'm like, I'm going to get up and run myself. But then I knew my buddy wasn't there to meet me. So that bed was a lot nicer, where I know the days when I know we're meeting each other, we're going to be there. So I think having that and having you in their corner is awesome. So if anybody that's listening or watching and they want to make a change, but maybe they're nervous about the investment, I don't know the monetary value, what you charge, but they're just kind of on the ledge or they're on the, they want to make that first step. What advice would you give them to just concede and say, hey, let's do this?
Here's my encouragement, because if you're not healthy in your body, it affects your confidence. It affects your energy. And without good confidence and good energy, we can't accomplish our goals. We can't accomplish our career goals. So therefore, any money that you're trying to save by not working with a coach to help you move forward in your health and in your life, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So if there's the readiness and the curiosity, then we need to talk. I mean, and I'll lay out the plan. And truly, most of my clients save money. When we become mindful of our habits, we stop letting money, float away to this and that and, things that really aren't serving where we really want to go. I mean, that's just all it is. I can't say enough. It's not a cost to get healthy and work to improve your life. It's an absolute must. It's an absolute investment. And people just need to be ready. They need to be ready to take their life to the next level.
It's and again, what we're talking is also lateral for what I do. I'm hashtag Coach Terb just because, as you know me, I coached college basketball. I didn't know you when I coached at Watchdog, but now I coach people buy and sell real estate. However, I know for me to grow my business, where we literally wake up every day unemployed, in real estate, we only paid us when we sell homes, led me to hire my first business coach 3 years ago, and in turn has tripled my business. I actually have 3 coaches, believe it or not, to hold me accountable. And I also think it's about who you surround yourself to on a daily basis that can clear out the noise, clear out the issue that may prevent you from moving forward. All right. So saying all that, what's your ultimate goal with being a wellness/lifestyle coach? And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So about 70 to 80% of people, adults and children, are currently practicing habits of disease. So that's a huge, huge problem, I would say. So
yes,
it's a big mission. It's a big mission. And I mean, I know I have a solution and I have a system, and it works for people who engage in the coaching and engage in the process. And so I'm looking to partner with people who I can teach the things that I know, so that we can help millions and millions get healthy, get on the right track, move forward in their life, meet their God-given potential. I just know a lot of people are living below their quality of life that they could have, and it's just time to raise up an army of people who can coach others, who can love and support them, and give them the tools and the science to move forward.
So do you have people that will help you now as far as coaching? Are you the only coach, or do you have coaches with you?
I do. So I have partner coaches.
How many do you have?
I don't know, because I have 3 new ones that I'm working with now. I'm very busy. So, I mean, to look at numbers, I haven't done that lately, but that's a good thing. I'm happy with where business is going. Nurse practitioners are my partners, people that own cryotherapy, businesses. I have a wellness clinic with a couple locations that we're partnered with. And, so, school teachers are my business partners. Many times people come into this process and they fall in love and they want to pay it forward. They've got friends and family. I've got 11-year-old kiddos all the way up to, 17-year-olds that we're helping. So there's a lot of moving and shaking going on. I have 2 new clients just today that I visited with before we got on this. So
that's fantastic. Because are you at your office now? I see in the background there.
One of my offices, yes, and I'm kind of
Very
moving
cool.
around for the Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no, I think it's great. I see everything. That's great. And so the real question, though, is obviously your husband, Philip. I've been actually very proud of him because over the last, 4, 6, 8 weeks, everything kind of blends. I know he's kind of made a decision to get healthier, and it's great to see his energy and his. You can kind of see it coming out of him. I saw where he got the new clothes. That was exciting.
Exactly,
so what's he saying now? Like what was his aha moment, do you think?
We went to Cabo with some friends, and some coaches were a part of that group, and I think he just saw people really on fire to help others, and I think he saw people who have been consistently working on themselves and who are really thriving in their marriage, in their fitness. And my husband is a pretty good example, and he'd tell you of somebody who set his goals too low and reached them pretty early on in his life. He's only like 43, 44. So the whole dreaming, thing has not really been, he's been great. He's in a pretty good spot. And that can be a little bit dangerous when we get to be in a pretty good spot, because then we're just hanging out. You get comfort.
Comfortable. Yep. That's awesome. So I ask this to everybody that comes on the Super Terb podcast. I get great answers every time. I keep saying I don't see this show ending very soon. I like doing this and having people tell their story, but eventually I'll make it book. But what is the best advice that you were ever been given, and by who?
Ooh, that's really good.
I like catching people off guard with that one.
Best advice I've ever been given, and by whom? So I reached out to a chief medical officer of a large hospital here in San Antonio in the height of COVID. And I wanted to share with her what I'm doing to help my clients get healthy. And she's amazing. She's a doctor. And she was like, I want to hear about what you're doing. She said, I just, there's not enough teaching about healthy habits and this kind of thing. And we got to talking about all kinds of stuff, but she said what she has learned, and I took this to heart, is when you're having a conversation with anybody, look them in the eye and think about what you're grateful for in that person. Slow down and listen to people and think about what are they giving to the world, and what are you grateful for from this person that you're having a conversation with. And to me, that was a game changer, because obviously when you're a mover and a shaker and you're wanting to grow business and you've got these, big dreams, these big goals, sometimes we move too fast, and sometimes we have to slow down to go faster. And so her saying that to me at that time, and her name is Dr. Jane Appleby. So that's the name of the person that gave me that advice.
I love that.
I love that question.
Yeah, no, that's so awesome. I love that. So tell everybody that's listening, of course, I'm going to tag you on our post. I'm going to go back, modify, but make sure they know how they can reach out to you. But if you want to share real fast how to get in touch with you, whether email, phone number, or whatever, and where they can find you and take that next step to their lifestyle goals.
Absolutely. Yes. Starts with a conversation. So you can call me, area code 210-254-2960. And the email is startinglinetовictory@gmail.com. And then please friend me on my personal Facebook page, and you can find it. Just search Rachel Davis, RACHEL, and that's DAVIS, and you do /San Antonio. I live in San Antonio, Texas, so that'll help you find me out of all the other Rachel Davises on Facebook. And I'm on nice. Instagram at Rachel Davis 0228. That's my birthday, February 28th. So
I'll make sure I tag you on that as well when we go to Insta, because we'll have it on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Can't do TikTok yet, but when we can, I'll get you there too. So cool. Well, I'm gonna take a quick break, but I want you to stay on, because I also feature a local beer of the week, and this local beer of the week is where you and I met. So I'm going to give them a shout out. So if you just hold on one second, guys, I'll be right back with your local beer of the week. And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Michael Terbet, your local real estate expert with the Terbet Group, Cold Roll Banger, HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb, a.k.a. Coach Terb. And I have my guest still with me, Rachel Davis. Rachel's in San Antonio and is a wellness and lifestyle coach. But we're wrapping up the show here with the local beer of the week. And so Rachel and her husband, Philip, actually drove out to the Raleigh area, actually went to Wake Forest, and we met at Lonerider. And actually, last Sunday I was at Lonerider because they help out with one of my favorite charity, the Triangle Beagle Rescue. They were doing an adopt outing, where people brought in fosters and you could adopt beagles. So it was great. My wife knew I was in the danger zone because she thought I'd bringing home another dog. I restrained myself. But while I was out there, of course, I enjoyed a cold beverage from Lonerider. And the beer that I would like to highlight this week is the Gold Dust IPA. It's very light, summery, only 95 calories, less than 3 grams of carbs. So it's a great beer to be chilling with, whether at the pool, the screen porch, just the beach, you name it, just around with friends. So go out and check out my friends at Lonerider. They have 2 locations, both near the airport in Raleigh, and then another at Wake Forest, which is the hideout where Rachel, you and I met and hung out with the food truck with Philip and your new dog. And then, of course, if you can't make it out there, you go see 2 of my other friends over at Taylor's Wine Shop in North Raleigh off Six Forks Road, and then Dee's Bottle Shop, which is over off Falls of News by Wakefield Tavern. You can pick up Lonerider beer there. They have also a great variety of other things that you can check out. So, Rachel, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today. It was awesome to have you and learn more about what you do. And guys, I can't thank you enough for the support, for listening to the Super Terb Podcast. Please follow and also leave a review if you like. You can, again, find me on Michael Terbet YouTube channel, my business page through Michael Terbet Real Estate, and, of course, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So make sure you subscribe, leave a review. It would really mean a lot. But if there's something I can do to help you accomplish your real estate goals here in the Triangle, or if you're moving out of the country, in another state or location, I could probably research out of the country. I'd be able to get you in touch with another great agent in that area. We're here to help. And again, it's Michael Terbet, your local real estate expert with the Terbet Group, Cold Roll Banker, HPW. And as always, guys, remember, who you work with matters, and have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next time.